Good evening and welcome. You're watching the News Hour Agenda. I am Padmaja Joshi. Today we are going to talk about West Bengal. Now, if any of you are probably wondering why day after day we talk to you about West Bengal, because to be very honest, personally the state is really fascinating for me, especially the way in which they have dealt with COVID-19. The testing regimen and the way in which infected cases, and especially those who have passed away, those who have died, it's totally fascinating. Today it turns out that 39 people died all of a sudden in the state of West Bengal, or so it would seem, because when it came to the state's total tally of corona victims, we were told it stood at 18. And then when you had a statement coming from the government in response to what the team that had gone from the center had asked them, they said 57 people passed away because of being corona positive. Now at this point you're thinking, one person says 57, another statement says only 18. So what happened to 39 people? Possibly this is a mix-up. It happens. Bureaucratic mistakes, mix-ups, they happen all the time. So possibly there would be a correction and the West Bengal government would say that yes, the final corona tally, pardon me, stands at 57. But that didn't happen. Excuse me. Because finally, let's listen in fact to what the Chief Secretary said.
ওরা আমার কাছে কয়েকটা চিঠি দিয়েছেন, গতকালও দিয়েছিলেন, আজকেও দুটো তিনটে চিঠি দিয়েছেন। আমি ওই চিঠিটাতে যেহেতু হেলথ ব্যাপারে ছিল, যে কালকে ওনারা বাঙ্গুরে গিয়েছেন, কি দেখেছেন, কি ভালো দেখেছেন, কি মন্দ দেখেছেন, প্লাস ডেথ নিয়ে হতে পারে যেটা আপনি বলছেন এরকমও ছিল, সেই সব কটা চিঠি যেহেতু ডাইরেক্টলি হেলথ ডিপার্টমেন্ট রিলেটেড আছে, ওই সব কটা চিঠি স্বাস্থ্য সচিব কাছে আমি পাঠিয়ে দিয়েছি যে ওনাদেরকে উত্তর দিয়ে দিতে। ইম্পর্টেন্ট ইস্যু হচ্ছে সেটা হচ্ছে আমরা কি ধরনের ইনফরমেশন আপনাদেরকে দিচ্ছি। ইট ইজ নট ইম্পর্টেন্ট যে ইনফরমেশন দেওয়ার পিছনে আমাদের যে কারণটা কি ছিল।
What happened? 57 is what one document said and 18 said the other. Now the discrepancy is because the audit team decided that 39 deaths are incidental. The fact that 39 people were corona positive and then they passed away is incidental. You heard that right. Let me explain what this is all about. This is the daily bulletin that is issued by the West Bengal government. Here it says 18 people, that's all. 18 people have died because of COVID-19. Whereas here is a statement released by the government that says very clearly the audit team has till date examined 57 cases of death of persons who had tested positive for COVID-19, but for 39 people, the fact that they were corona positive at the time of death is only incidental. What is also entirely coincidental that this figure of 57 has emerged soon after a central team landed in West Bengal and started asking questions of this entire audit process. Which is why when you heard the Chief Secretary, we asked him, why is it that the central team comes and suddenly this figure of 57 emerges? He said, it's a coincidence. So it's all a matter of what is incidental and coincidental in West Bengal. The real question though remains for those 39 people and their families. Are their deaths going to count as nothing? Let's find out.
ওরা আমার কাছে কয়েকটা চিঠি দিয়েছেন, গতকালও দিয়েছিলেন, আজকেও দুটো তিনটে চিঠি দিয়েছেন। আমি ওই চিঠিটাতে যেহেতু হেলথ ব্যাপারে ছিল, যে কালকে ওনারা বাঙ্গুরে গিয়েছেন, কি দেখেছেন, কি ভালো দেখেছেন, কি মন্দ দেখেছেন, প্লাস ডেথ নিয়ে হতে পারে যেটা আপনি বলছেন এরকমও ছিল, সেই সব কটা চিঠি যেহেতু ডাইরেক্টলি হেলথ ডিপার্টমেন্ট রিলেটেড আছে, ওই সব কটা চিঠি স্বাস্থ্য সচিব কাছে আমি পাঠিয়ে দিয়েছি যে ওনাদেরকে উত্তর দিয়ে দিতে। ইম্পর্টেন্ট ইস্যু হচ্ছে সেটা হচ্ছে আমরা কি ধরনের ইনফরমেশন আপনাদেরকে দিচ্ছি। ইট ইজ নট ইম্পর্টেন্ট যে ইনফরমেশন দেওয়ার পিছনে আমাদের যে কারণটা কি ছিল।
The News Hour at 10. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
us to the News Hour agenda, we have Union Minister Babul Supriyo, who is also a member of Parliament from West Bengal. We have lawyer Priyanka Tibrewal. We've got Professor Manojit Mandal, also a supporter of the Trinamool Congress. And we have Dr. Fuad Halim, member of the CPM. And very importantly, somebody who's gone to court against this entire audit process in West Bengal. But before that, there's news just coming in. Now, sources within the West Bengal government are telling Times Now that if there are questions being raised about the audit process, the finger should be pointing not at us, but towards the centre, because their argument is that the entire direction to form this audit team came from the centre. Let me quote to you what these sources are saying now. These sources are saying that there was a conversation that happened between the Union Health Secretary and the State Health Secretary, which said, and I quote, and there was a letter that went out, and this is classified information, but that's what our sources have told us. The Union Health Secretary said that deaths of patients have gone up, patient care should be carefully looked into. It's also important that some sort of a death audit be done as we report cases. So this is the defense that now the state is giving. So let's start the debate on that. Babul Supriyo, the state's argument is that you're crucifying us for doing this audit, for making this audit team, but the centre told us to.
On stage, पीने वालों को पीने का बहाना चाहिए. It's really bizarre the way Mamata Banerjee and our government has really handled the COVID situation. The fact that, we have been questioning from day one that, there are several scary videos, scary, data that are coming out. Why this firewall of two bureaucratic committees to which the doctors issuing the death certificates will have to write a letter asking for directions in terms of how they would issue the death certificate. What is this audit committee all about and all of that? So, the entire manner in which Mamata Banerjee handled the situation does not highlight or does not, hold the flag of a federal structure in our country. It is rather the same old politics of the centre versus the state, where the state is using all kinds of bizarre allegations.
Saying with responsibility that this is only an excuse by the West Bengal government, that the centre has not asked for any audit team. Also, just out of curiosity, has any other state been asked for such an audit?
Well, this is something that I'm really hearing for the first time. So now I'm really not good at getting this into my frame. I don't know. Anyways, what I'm saying is that we have really not heard about any state complaining or questioning anything like an audit committee and stuff. So what Mamata Banerjee has suddenly come up with after the central team goes to Kolkata now needs to be evaluated. And if the centre says that you need to have a monitoring committee, what is wrong about it? So the centre will never ever any sensible leave the centre out would instruct the state government that you need to have an audit committee which is going to examine the records and then say whether a person has really died of COVID or of comorbidity. Now, no one really dies out of COVID.
No, and not just that. Not just that, and which is what I frankly find. Yes, go on. Finish your point.
When you put someone on a ventilator, he either dies of a heart failure or a multiple organ failure or something. So in that case, no one dies of COVID. It is just a coincidental death, as they have said, or incidental, or it manifested, COVID manifested into the person dying. So it's a bizarre way of handling situations, about announcing things that do not exist, and now turning the entire thing to the centre, saying that they are the ones who ask. It's a bizarre thing. And look at the language that the Chief Secretary is using. He said yesterday, 2 days back...
But more importantly, just a second, because we have a professor with us on the panel. And Professor Manojit Mandal, your political leanings, I want you to keep aside for a moment and just tell me, if somebody has tested positive for COVID-19 and they were positive of COVID-19 at the time of death, how can the presence of COVID-19 be incidental? 39 people died and they are not going to show up as COVID-19 casualties.
Let me answer by asking a question. Somebody is having 4-stage cancer and having chemotherapy. Incidentally, that person is COVID positive and dies. What do you talk about that? Right? These are the issues which were examined by the audit committee, expert committee, consisting of very senior 5 doctors in the state and in the country. They are not fools. Forget about the fact that this was done in line. No, let me.
Sir, first of all,
forget about the fact that they were done in line with the order.
No, you've made your one point. Your one point. So you asked me a question. I am not a doctor, so I am not well placed to answer that question. However, luckily, we also have somebody who's a doctor on the panel. He's Dr. Fuad Halim. So just a second. Dr. Fuad Halim, as a doctor, let's have an educated conversation, not just, yelling at each other. So Dr. Fuad Halim, the question asked is that if somebody has cancer, and at the time of death, they were also corona positive, would you categorize it as a corona death or a cancer death? The audit team has done the latter. They said cancer death.
Let me be very clear, Padmaja, at the very onset, that neither have you nor Babul Supriyo nor Monojit has understood actually exactly how a death certificate or cause of death has to be written down. Let me first explain to you that the international protocol in terms of COVID-19 related deaths has already been laid down by the ICD, International Classification of Diseases, 10 codes for COVID-19 by the World Health Organization under the name U07.1 and U07.2. Now, these two categories clearly indicated how a death certificate has to be classified. The immediate cost of death is there and there are underlying causes. The immediate cause of death can be any other reason, but the underlying causes of death, if somebody has a COVID positive report, it has to be mentioned in either line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5, line 6, irrespective of however the number of comorbidities an individual has. This is the international rule already established by the WHO, accepted by the ICMR. So let me explain to Babul Supriyo, you have not understood how a death certificate is to be generated.
So just a second, as a follow-up, then for the understanding of everyone, can I ask you a follow-up question? Even if that COVID-19 is mentioned in line 2, would that person, if he's also suffering from cancer, because that is the example stated, be counted as a COVID casualty or a cancer casualty? Not about how a death certificate is written, but in tallying the death.
Let me finish. Let me answer your question directly. Number one, cancer is never a direct cause of death. It's never an immediate cause of death. The immediate cause of death may be cardiac failure, respiratory failure, any other failure. The underlying cause will have cancer, and if the person is suffering from cancer and is also COVID-19 positive, then in line 2 you will write cancer, and line 3 you will have to write down COVID-19. Now, what's interesting here, Padmaja, is that I put my PIL on the 6th of April, underlining and explaining all these things to the High Court in Calcutta, where I made the state government and the central government a party. What's interesting is that yesterday morning, the central government lawyer, he asked for my affidavit to the High Court, which was already given to him on the 6th. He has not seen it. He again says, I want it. And by evening, we saw the central team now picking out all the facts and the things that I had put in front of the High Court and asking the state government to give a reply. So, even in this case, the central government has not applied its mind. It is only trying to what you call copy-paste what I have submitted in the PIL, because there are other questions that the central government
but in that case, I'm glad, sir, that you've gone with the PIL, because your contribution has been very critical in getting the state government to now come up with the figure of 57. But yes. But the entire credit, the credit aside, and you should get full credit for it, sir. Again, Manojit Mandal, is your question answered? Now tell us, 39 people, and we don't even know what they died of. Incidentally, they also had COVID-19.
First of all, question is not answered. Please, I was mentioning about immunosuppression when the patient is having chemotherapy. Automatically, the person will have immunosuppression, and this particular disease will
he is COVID positive. Let me tell you. Monojit, if he is COVID positive, you have to enter
you can be a doctor, but I'm a patient of cancer. I know what is what. You can be a doctor, and you don't know anything under the sun.
Please do not generate a new type of protocol in this Bengal. Monojit, you've been caught out. You've been caught out. The Singapore government has been caught out.
Please. I will answer. You can't
Professor Mandal, I empathize with you, but to be very honest, with complete sensitivity, I want to say, when it comes to a medical diagnosis, I would believe the doctor and not the patient. But the really interesting thing over here, Babul Supriyo, is this, that even now, the figure of 57 has come all of a sudden. I want to show our viewers the reports that we've got over the last 3 days. On the 18th, the figure of death was 12. On 22nd, it was 15. Even today, it stays at 18. And 57 on the side is told to the central team.
Well, you see, Padmaja, what is very interesting is that, in the letter written by Apurva Chandra of the Assistant Secretary to the Government of India and the team leader in West Bengal, you'll be surprised that in number 2, para 2, to the Chief Secretary, it says that the Principal Secretary Health, in his presentation on the 23rd of April 2020, gave some reasons for establishment of the Committee of Doctors and also mentioned that please pay attention to the line, and also mentioned that if a COVID patient dies in a road accident, he cannot be said to have died of COVID. I mean, is this child play? What are you talking about? This is the reason why the TMC government thinks, the Mamata government thinks.
That should be the case. What are you talking about?
One second, boss. I first of all understand one thing that you guys. Understand one thing. You guys are in a very vulnerable state. If you say something wrong, tomorrow Derek and TMC is going to disown you because you're not a TMC spokesperson. Don't interrupt me. I did not interrupt.
I don't care.
What I am saying
I don't care, Mr. Supriyo. I don't care.
One second,
I don't care. I'm not here as a TMC spokesperson. You understand that? I don't care. I don't care about that.
Don't disturb me. I did not disturb
you
when you were talking.
Doctor, about the state.
Doctor, no. This is the letter. Come on. Hello.
Did you lie about Bankura?
Padmaja,
Did you lie about Bankura? Did you lie about Bankura National Television? Did you?
Sir, please, not a yelling match, please. This is a very sensitive issue. 39 people have died and their relatives need to know why. You cannot brush this under the carpet. Let's not yell. Finish your point, Babul Supriyo.
I am not going to argue with unnecessarily. I don't want to argue with him. Dr. Fawaz Alim has filed some very interesting PILs, and they are very important on the context of West Bengal people and India knowing what is happening in West Bengal. However, Dr. Fawaz Alim has a predicament. He has a problem, dilemma. He doesn't know how to divide his time between lambasting TMC and then lambasting center. He has to do both while he's speaking. So, sir, I really do not need to know the WHO standards about how...
Babul Supriyo, I have taken you to task. Your lawyer is going to appear on the 23rd and I'm going to rake him across the course. Because let me tell you...
Okay, please let's not get into that, because in this present case, if we can have a little bit of bipartisan unity, if only in interest of the people of West Bengal. Just a second. Please, this is not about a fight for credit. I again want to come... just a second. I want to bring back Professor Manjeet Mandal. As a very commonsensical question, you say, Professor Manjeet Mandal, that 39 people also had COVID, but they died of other reasons. Answer a commonsensical question. When they were cremated or buried, were COVID protocols followed or not? Or in this case, you said, he also had COVID, but he's died of a heart attack, so let's just hand him over to the family and let them do whatever. What protocols were
followed? First of all, you understand one thing.
If they were followed, then how is he not a COVID death?
Let me answer. What is your problem? It can't be 1 versus 4 like that, and which side, right? I should be having enough time to answer the question. First of all, how many times have you heard Mr. Love Agarwal, Joint Secretary Health, talking about comorbidity? On record, he has said that more than 80% of the COVID deaths are because of comorbidity. Have you heard about this?
And yet they count as COVID deaths. Yes. You have contradicted yourself, and yet they are counted as COVID deaths. You are absolutely correct. 80% of the deaths in our country are of comorbidities, and they are added to the COVID tally, sir, except in West Bengal. You just proved my point.
What are you talking about? The fact remains that these were not said by any bureaucrat, any politician, but by 5 doctors.
Babul Supriyo, isn't that the case, or maybe I've totally misread the situation?
Fawaz Alim may not be knowing all of this.
Well, Padmaja, what you see here is exactly what you were talking about. I'm very happy you brought this up. See, this is the document that came out of KMC on the very second day, where, you know, the ones that I've highlighted on green are the bodies that have been cremated in Thapa. These are the ones which were cremated in Thapa with complete protocol and everything that needs to be done with bodies that are COVID, who have died of COVID. Now these deaths were later on recorded in West Bengal, according to Mamata Banerjee. They were all comorbid deaths. If comorbid deaths happen, what was the need to take these people to the Thapa crematorium? I'll show you one more very interesting document where a gentleman at the age of 80 died in a hospital called Job Charnock Hospital in South Calcutta. His son was made to sign a letter of NOC in the evening, saying that because the entire family is in quarantine, they are giving the permission to KMC to cremate the body. Now tell me, if a person has not died of COVID positive, why would the family be kept in quarantine? Why would the family be kept in quarantine? Now these are logical questions. Dr. Fuad Alim, in this case, we are
which naturally any family would ask.
The lives of Mamata Banerjee. We are fighting the lives of Mamata Banerjee. It's not about who's right or who's wrong. But talk logic. Don't just shout.
You're absolutely right. This is amazing. And you know, some of the comorbidities, Dr. Fuad Halim, that have been listed here, cardiomyopathy with chronic kidney disease, cerebrovascular accident, left ventricular failure.
To declare death. This has never happened ever in the world anywhere that a committee has been created to declare death.
Padmaja, I would just like to submit
right,
that
Dr.
the Indian Council for Medical Research and the WHO have jointly issued a booklet and guidelines to record codes for COVID-19 deaths. In example number 3, and Monojit should take note of that, in example number 3, it exactly described how a cancer patient undergoing chemotherapy with a positive COVID-19 report, how that person's death certificate has to be generated and where COVID-19 has to be mentioned and where COVID-19 is reflected in the statistics of such a death. So, you know, Monojit's research has to be done. The state government has to do its research concretely before actually trying to fudge the figures in terms of who are dying because of COVID-19. Now, all these scenarios have already been given in the booklet that has been issued by the ICMR and the WHO. I don't know why there is confusion anyway. Even if the expert committee in Bengal is dealing with this, they have the booklet with them. Why are they trying to beat around the bush? You know, nobody is saying that the immediate cause has to be identified as COVID-19.
Perhaps Fuad Halim in West Bengal, ICMR guidelines do not apply. I mean, you know, ICMR guidelines can apply to the rest of the country. West Bengal can make its own guidelines, like it made its own committee.
Like Monojit needs to know that the affidavit that the state government has submitted in reply to my PIL, of there the Advocate General clearly mentions that he is saying that a state government has made a committee, but that committee is going to follow the ICMR or the WHO guidelines. He does not allude to that. So it's very clear that the West Bengal committee is not sticking to and adhering to the ICMR and the WHO guidelines, and which is why this disparity is there. Now, along with that, I just like to push
in fact, you know, there is a very interesting angle that has now come in, and surprisingly, there seems to be a multi-party unity, at least in one thing, that what is happening in West Bengal is extremely suspicious, and now the Congress has spoken and said it is criminal. And I'll take your view on that, Priyanka Tibrewal. Let's listen to this.
কেন্দ্র থেকে টাস্ক ফোর্স গেল, তাদেরকে আটকানোর চেষ্টা হচ্ছে। তারা তথ্য জানতে চাইছে, বাংলার সরকার তথ্য দিতে চাইছে না। চাপে পড়ে আজ 57 জনের কথা স্বীকার করেছে। আসলে কি মৃতের সংখ্যা এর থেকেও বেশি? প্রশ্ন উঠবে, কারণ গতকাল পর্যন্ত বাংলার কোনো মানুষ জানতো না 57 জন মানুষের মৃত্যু হয়েছে করোনাতে। আর চাপে পড়ে আপনারা বলছেন 57 জনের মৃত্যু। মাননীয় রাজ্যপালও সেখানটাই।
So tell me, as a lawyer, Priyanka Tibrewal, is suppression of data and falsification of data a crime? Can a case be made out actually against the government?
Of course, it is a crime, not only in the sense of law or anything as such, in ways of humanity. How pathetic it is, just see, because I've been saying this from the very first day, that the CM here is only and only doing politics, and now doing politics at the cost of people's lives. So that is what I have been saying from the very first day, and that has proved true today. Because how can the numbers change within 48 hours? Tell me. From 13 to 15 to 57. Why such a huge difference? What Mr. Supriyo just mentioned regarding the bodies being cremated at Dhapa is absolutely correct, because I stay in the same area and the public at large came out when they brought in the dead bodies here at late in the evening, night time to cremate the bodies. Why the bodies were brought late night? If they were just normal deaths.
So just a second, Professor Manojit Mandal, again I want to ask you a very layperson's question. You acknowledge that 18 people died of COVID. 57 were incidental, 39 were incidental, 18 died of pure corona. How do you die of pure corona?
First of all,
because it's not a heart attack, it's not hypertension, it's nothing else. How does COVID kill you?
Again, these questions are becoming something like a complete monologue. You first decide whether you allow me to answer or not. You ask me questions, then you switch over to
Sir, answer my question. What are the ways in which COVID kills? If not of a heart attack, if not of a kidney failure, if not of neurological failure, how do you die of COVID?
I'm taking your question. If you don't allow me to answer what the point.
Because if it makes your heart fail, you say, oh, he's not died of COVID, he's died of heart failure. So tell me, how does one die of COVID? Pure COVID. What does a pure COVID death look like?
As far as my understanding goes, first of all, again, I'm not a doctor. There is a committee consisting of doctors. Now, Fuad Halim may be a doctor, but Fuad Halim is at the same time a political person. Everyone knows. Like, I'm a professor, and I do have a political leaning. Otherwise, people will laugh at us. If I talk as a professor, any one of us, okay? The fact remains that...
Sir, you're absolutely right. People will laugh. And actually, it is so tragic that people are not laughing anymore. If you reach a point where 39 deaths are called incidental, they died and they were corona positive at the same time, and some basic questions haven't been answered, basic WHO guidelines haven't been followed, basic ICMR guidelines haven't been followed, it is now bordering on tragedy. It's not even funny anymore. Again, today the state government was forced to admit that 57 cases of people were there who were corona positive at the time of death. This is for the first time this admission has happened, and this has happened, and I will unabashedly say it, only because we've been pursuing this story week on week on week, and because of public-minded people like Dr. Fuad Halim, who's in fact gone to court, and others like him. We're in the hope that there is no more of a cover-up. In that hope, I would like to thank all the gentlemen and Priyanka Tibrewal for having joined me.